Good afternoon and happy Monday. My name is Nyoka Lynn. So, when asked, what do you mean by rewire your brain? What do you mean by that? Well, it's really quite simple. It's not difficult. It might sound difficult, but it's not difficult. Everything begins with a thought. I've said that quite often. Thoughts, thought over and over again, become beliefs. So your brain is wired to believe certain things. How does that happen? Well, you were born into this planet Earth, into this incarnation, and yes, you chose a theme. You chose everything, your parents, your body, your gender, everything. Then, as you progressed in age, from infant to toddler to ongoing, you learned certain behaviors. You learned certain things. You learned that if you cried a certain way, you'd get fed. You learned if you cried a certain way, somebody would change you. Then you became a toddler. You learned certain ways to get attention. You started learning words. You started learning. Then you went to school. Then you started learning everybody else's bad habits. You started learning what worked for you. Now, if you've gone through a difficult childhood, maybe you learned how to survive, without getting hurt. Maybe you were hurt over and over again, and you learned how not to get hurt. You did whatever you had to do to survive, to protect yourself, understandably. I mean, anybody would do that, wouldn't they? So then, you become a young adult. You've learned all these things, and they've become your beliefs. Well, if you do this a certain way, this might happen. But if you do it this way, this will happen. We find our own security blankets, don't we? Yeah, we have our own beliefs. We've collected thoughts and beliefs over our whole life. Yeah. So when I mean rewire, I mean examine your thoughts. Yeah, because thoughts definitely become things. Sometimes you have a belief that you've been believing for quite a while because it proved true to you at one point of your life. But now it's not so helpful because now what it's doing, it's creating the same kind of scenario over and over and over again for you. So you get caught in a loop. You can break the loop by changing your thoughts. That's what I mean by rewiring your brain. And it just doesn't happen like this. Some things are easy. Someone will say, hey, if you do it this way and that way, it'll be a little bit easier. And you might try it. Hey, it works easier. Boom, done. But when it comes to deep emotional pain, survival methods, survival tactics, then it's a different story. Some folks will look for solutions. Other folks will find stuff to self-soothe. And that's their solution. There's all kind of addictions. There's medications and alcohol and porn and shopping and being sick and whatever it was for you that got your attention. So that you would be treated okay. Yeah, some people are addicted to money. The more they get, they need big toys, they need big things. And it's okay. I'm not anti-money. I just want to put that out there. I'm not anti-money. But are you using it to self-soothe? Are you happy? Are you genuinely a happy person? Or are you using this to self-soothe? Because there's a big difference. I've known and met a lot of wealthy people, and they were not happy. Am I saying that If you're wealthy, you're not happy? Absolutely not. I'm saying don't use it to self-soothe. A lot of people think that if they just get rich, all their problems will go away. Well, everywhere you go, there you are. Absolutely. So in life, some of our beliefs that we have, they're not serving us. They're keeping us out of alignment. And when you're out of alignment, you got a kinked hose. Things aren't flowing to you the way they should. Or should I say, the way they could. hmm Because you have belief systems, your brain needs rewiring. Imagine, I think I've said this before, maybe last year sometime. Imagine all your life, the way you've been eating, you've been taking a fork or a spoon, and you've been shoving that stuff up your nose, shoving it up your nose and then swallowing it. It became normal. That very difficult way of nourishing yourself became normal. Now you're having issues, okay? You're having issues. It's uncomfortable. It's not really what you want anymore. And someone comes along and says, hey, try this. They give you a fork or a spoon, you stick it in and put it in your mouth and chew it and swallow. Enjoy the flavor. Relish it. Relish it. Take small bites. Enjoy it. Well, you say, well, that's not how I've always done it. It's not how I've always done it. I've done it this way, and I always got fed, so I don't know about that. But then you try it, and you think, you know what? This is easier for me. We all have security blankets, and we hold on tight. And you've seen a child, a little toddler, when you take away that security blanket, that pacifier, the blanket, that poor stuffed animal they've been dragging around that looks like it's been beat dead like years ago. Yeah. And when you take it away, what happens? They pitch a fit, a royal fit. Then you show them a different way. You teach them a different way. And it's okay. They're rewired. Yeah. So that's what I mean by rewiring. You just have to change your thoughts. Sometimes the way we used to do things don't always serve us. Doesn't make us bad. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Let's get that straight. You only know what you know. And like I say, you use what you have at the time. But if you want to succeed, if you want to have things happen better in your life, you have to change the way you think, the way you do things. And yeah, sometimes at first it's uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar, but give it a shot. Yeah. I found something that came up in my life, and I had to look at that, and I immediately I had beliefs about it, and I thought, oh wow, I have programmed myself to believe that this is a certain way. So now I have to sit back and look at it and say, okay. And I asked my spirit team, can I trust this or this or this? And they said, trust yourself. My. In other words, look, you've been taught a whole lot of things. Put it to use. That's like when, I think it was last year also, I gave the analogy that my team gave me of little Mario in that video game. Going along on that first level, collecting coins. That's you, collecting knowledge, okay? Then you get to the end of that level. And when you're at the end of that level, you've got to use those coins to purchase whatever it is to slay that beast, because you want to get to the next level. And that thing is trying to prevent you from getting to the next level. Well, what is that like in real time? Well, yeah, you're going to have that old trickster in your ear saying, this isn't going to work. You know right doggone well you can't do that. You've done it this way all your life. Yeah, it's going to talk to you and try to talk you out of something that is going to put you in alignment. You've got to sit back and go and think about the things that you know about who you are, how things really are. Yeah. So that's what I mean by rewiring my brain. I have to take a look at my thoughts and think, is this serving me anymore? Is this a fear-based belief that I have that I've been toting around with me for years? Yeah, it was true at one point. Yes, it was true at one point, but it doesn't mean it has to be true all the time. You have to change the way you think. You have to change the way you do things. Yeah. Take that leap. It's worth it. Yeah. So are you hanging on to beliefs that are kinking your hose? They're very familiar. Well, they worked for me before. Yep, they surely did. Yeah, when you were in survival mode. Yeah. Well, I'm still in survival mode because look, this keeps happening. That's because you have that belief. Yeah. As long as you believe something is going to happen over and over and over again, it's going to happen over and over and over again. Yeah. Everything is the definition that you give it. Yeah. So, do you want to rewire your brain? Sit back, examine your thoughts. You have a belief about something that's kinking your hose. Let's get unkinked. I mean, I can only put it out there. I was asked a question. I'm answering the question. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy your day. My friends and family on the East Coast, yeah, in Massachusetts and Brooklyn and all those places, stay safe in this storm that we're experiencing. All right, my name is Nayoka Lynn. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Namaste.